Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a cold and windy Bodmin Moor, and this is Raf Davidstow. This is one of the highest airfields in Great Britain. It also holds a surprising title as a Formula 1 circuit from the 1950s. We are going to do a lap around the circuit at the end of the video, so stick around and have a look at it. In the meantime, we're going to take a walk around the place and just have a look around and explore. Let's go. So the airfield ran from 1942 to 1945. As you can see, weather and time has taken the buildings, but a lot of the ruins are still here, pretty much intact. During its operational times, this place consisted of 3 aircraft hangars. It also consisted of 3 runways. One of them was 2,000 yards long. The airfield sits about 1,000 feet above sea level, which unfortunately brings slight problems like fog, wind, poor weather. That was probably the downfall of the airfield. You still get a feeling of how vast the place was. At the time of World War II, while this place was operational, there were around nearly 3,000 RAF staff operating from this airfield itself. Some of these places that have still remained intact within the airfield are the bomb shelters. These structures were quite simple. There wouldn't be a roof. They're mounded up with soil about halfway up the other side of the structure. Basically, about 30 soldiers would come in here when the bombs were dropping, and they would crouch down behind the wall, hoping that nothing hits them in the head as it flies over the top. Quite simple. I don't know if I'd like it though. Of course, since its closure, everything's been just left to ruin. But there is one part of it that is still operational today, is Davidstow Flying Club. Privately owned flying club. It's basically microlights and gliders, things like that. Just off the grounds of the airfield is the RAF Davidstow Museum, as I believe that was originally part of the officers' mess. You can visit there now. That's still open to the public. It gives you a bit of a history of the place. Even today, where the weather's not been too bad where I've come from, as soon as you hit Davidstow, it's quite murky. So you can imagine that the fog would fall quite easily along here, making it very difficult for aircraft to take off. And the one fairly significant building that's still standing, although it's pretty ruined, it's still here, is the control tower. From here you could see the entire of the airfield, and the good thing is we can still get inside. It's a bit of a mess in there, but let's go and have a quick look. We can see then what the views are like from the actual control tower itself. Oh, wow. So once you're above the ground level, you can actually feel the wind blowing through. In fact, when you stood up here, you can actually get an idea of the scale of the airfield. It's quite big. The runway is absolutely massive. It's quite nice that places like this still exist that haven't been overtaken by health and safety and torn down or closed off, you can still get up here and appreciate what these places were. Like a lot of airfields in the country, after the war had ended and there was no need for the airfield anymore, they were taken over by motor racing. This one was no exception. Although it didn't have much of a career as a racetrack, it was actually used for 3 F1 races. 1954 and 1955, I believe, was around the last time it was used. This holds the title of being the place that Lotus won its first F1 race. So in 1952 the original track was 2.6 miles long. In 53 they dropped the length of the track down to 1.9 miles. They added a chicane too at one end of the track. So my initial thought was, how cool would it be to end the video with a lap around the old racetrack? The ground is so rough that it's not going to be possible to do any sort of speed along here safely. It's going to damage the car and then my pride. It's also loaded with livestock, as you can see, that are grazing in the area, so it wouldn't be safe to do it around animals anyway. However, I have got a backup plan, so let's try something a little bit different. We'll pull over at the original start line and try something else. Right, this is the original position of the starting grid for the F1 circuit. It runs down that way, down to the chicane, around the corner, back up the long straight, past the control tower, and then back around to here. 3 corners. Now, as I just said to you, I can't do it in the car. It's going to be boring, it's going to be slow, and I'm probably going to end up wrecking my car. So for this one today, this is going to be my F1 car. I'm hoping this will give you a bit of an idea of what it would have been like to drive around a track, or what the track layout would have been. Right, so I realise this is hardly nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat sort of stuff. I've come up with a bit of a plan, I think, to make this a slightly more interesting. Let's stop it right there. Right, let's see if we can't make this just a little bit more exciting. Let's go back to the beginning, try again. And that is RAF Davidstow Moor. If you've been up here yourself, drop a comment, let me know what you thought of the place. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, please subscribe. I'm going to jump back in the car now and get warm before it starts to rain, and I will see you all on the next one. Have yourselves a great day. See you soon.